All right, well, that didn't work out the way I wanted it to. I started it and I ended it because I forgot to go live. um, I wanted to start this video by saying that, I watch a lot of Arkansas police videos, and the one thing I've realized out of all of them that I watch, and there's a lot of them, is that there are people out there that just they go out and they buy these new cars and they're like $70,000, $80,000 vehicles, and they think they're going to outrun the Arkansas State Police. How can you ignore the cost of your vehicle so much that you don't care? I mean, seriously, you got a brand new car. Maybe you did some work on it and you made it so that you think you have like the upper hand to be able to outrun them. There is nobody that outruns Arkansas State Police ever, ever. I've watched so many videos and so many times I see the same thing where they think they're going to outrun them. They can't outrun them. And when you got people like Jacob Bird, the legend, out there working for ASP and Arkansas Troop A, which is LRPD, Little Rock Police Department, if you try to outrun that guy, he's not going to let you outrun him. That guy's a legend for a reason. He's actually a race car driver, for crying out loud. And because of that, he has one of the fastest cars that are out there for the Arkansas State Police right now, because he's the one that can handle it. I don't know. I mean, my car costs $28,000. It's a 2023 Hyundai Elantra that I bought brand new off the lot. Even if I upped up the ante on that car to make it so that it could be the best it ever could be, there's no way I'm going to take $28,000 and throw it down the drain thinking I'm going to outrun these guys, because you can't. It's just impossible. You can't outrun them. All right, so now we've carried out through that. One of the things that I've done. Hey, Charlene Grady, how you doing? One of the things I've done recently was I went out and spent $685 on new glasses. Right now, I'm wearing my reading glasses. Okay, I'm gonna take these off and I'm gonna put my new ones on. The problem with my new ones is I can actually read comments if my head is tilted at the right angle. These are what they call a what the heck they call it? It's where it's a progressive lens. That's what it is. My readers are at the bottom, so I can see comments and stuff if my head is tilted up, like right about here. But if I tilt my head down a little bit, I can't read anything on my screen. So I don't wear these when I'm working on my computer. I can't wear them in my seat house, because in my seat house I'd be constantly going, okay, what's that? What's that? What's that? It doesn't work. So I have them. I will say one thing about them, they're really good for. I can count every road or every stone on the road and tell you exactly how many stones are down the middle of the road that don't belong. Because I can see every stone. I can see every pothole. I can see everything. I'm not saying my eyesight's bad. These are 2.75 readers, and you can only go up to 3.0 before you have to go to like a prescription lens. But I'm not saying my eyes are that bad. I can read signs mile down the road if I'm driving down the road. But when I get close to a position where I need to be, I can't see things. I'll be looking at the car and I'll be like, okay, well, what's the temperature? Well, I can kind of read the temperature outside. I can read the speed all day long. It's not an issue. What I can't read is what number's on your mailbox if I'm sitting next to your mailbox. And those new glasses let me do that. They're really cool about that. And I don't have to tip my head up and go, oh, what am I looking at now? Because the reader part's way down here. No, it's just there. I mean, I can actually look and see stuff. I kind of like that feature. I've asked Greg and Troy to join in with me tonight. I have not heard back. I'm going to double check with my phone real quick to see if maybe they are or they aren't. I don't know, but we'll check. Won't take but a minute. All right. Wow, really? Greg Brink, you're getting a bad storm right now? I am amazed. Right now it's 58 degrees in New York State. And they're saying we got like an inch of rain coming today. I have to keep looking at the other computer because I have a new monitor in front of this one that covers that part of it up. So I'm like, oh, you're getting bad weather. Oh, it takes a long time to get used to them, Charlene. Yeah, going downstairs? No. No, I look under the glasses going downstairs. I do like my glasses, but I always look down going downstairs. All right, so Greg's not going to be joining us. I don't know why they're getting a bad storm because it's not that bad up here. I'm not that far from Greg. I'm 20 minutes away. We're getting 1 inch of rain. And actually, this next week is supposed to be beautiful. I mean, we're talking Sunday's going to be about 50 degrees tomorrow. And it may or may not rain. That's fine. I don't care about that. Monday and Tuesday, we're talking 68, 69-degree days and sunny and beautiful. So I don't know why Greg's getting bad weather. I really don't. We're not that far apart. But it is what it is. You know, you just got to deal with what you got to deal with. I do like my new glasses, Charlene. And to be honest with you, like I said, with them glasses on, I don't wear glasses driving down the road because my reading glasses, I can't see crap driving down the road. But with those, because they're progressive lens, when I'm driving, I can count every rock on the road. It's pretty easy, you know, the little stones that always end up in the center part of your driving lane. I can pretty much count every stone. I can see them. I can see potholes long before I get to them. Without it, I can't see them very well. 9 times out of 10, I wind up hitting them. But, you know, it is what it is. I mean, now here's a funny one for you. I really got a good chuckle out of this one. I had a customer for our seed business who complained. He didn't complain to me. He complained to the internet. And I got wind of it. So I got to go see what his complaint was. And he actually went in to deep dive and found out that I run HalfAss Homested. And he's like, well, Dave Moffat, he's not just a jerk and an asshole, but he also runs HalfAss Homested. That shows you how he runs his business. No, that's not how I run my business. Actually, right now in my business, there's people working in my seed house right now as I'm online, live. That's not how I run my business. It's not run half-assed. And the reason why I called it half-assed homestead to begin with was because I tried raising chickens. I went through 3 different flocks. I had a Fisher cat that was killing my flocks. That Fisher cat, I don't know if it's still in the area or not, but it no longer messes with my chickens. It can't. I went all the way around my chicken coop, which is big. It's 8 by 16. There's a chicken run, rather, 8 by 16. I dug out the dirt around it. I dug it down about 10 inches, and I filled it all with cement. So that Fisher cat can't just go in and dig under. Before, it was going through what the chipmunk holes were, where it would just dig them out a little bit bigger and get into the chicken run, and then it would just like decimate my chickens. You can't do that anymore. And that was the reason for coming up with the name. Hey, if you can't raise chickens, you can't raise any other thing. And that's where the name came from. So I have, Charlene, thank you. I have now decimated that problem by pouring cement all the way around the chicken run. And nothing gets into the chicken run. Chipmunks still do because they can go over and they just climb up over the fence and they go back in. They don't give a crap, you know. But what little chipmunks eat isn't anything I need to worry about. And chickens are actually very, very they're high protein. They like to go after things like mice, field mice especially, if it goes into the chicken run, they'll kill the field mice, or field mouse, I should say. They'll kill it, and they'll eat it. They don't care. It's protein. You know what I'm saying? But they don't mess with the chipmunks, and I don't know why that is. I like my chipmunks. We feed them. We hand feed them. You know, we don't just throw out peanuts for them. We actually make them come up to us and eat them out of our hands and stuff. And some of them are very friendly, and we can pet them, and they just love it. But for some reason, they don't bother the chipmunks. They actually, it's like they think they're all friends or something. They love each other, and I like that. I really do. I like that because I like my chipmunks. I love my chickens, but I like my chipmunks, and because I can hand feed my chipmunks, we're not talking like in the shell peanuts all the time. I can hand feed them a half of a peanut, the little parts, you know, the inside pieces. I can hand feed it. And as long as I hold on to it, they'll just keep taking little nibbles off from it and just slowly eat it. Like, okay, I'm eating the corn on the cob. They love it. Because of that, I mean, I can't not like my chipmunks, to be honest with you. We have signs all over our porch. Caution, chipmunk crossing. Beware of the chipmunks, you know. I mean, we got so many signs on our porch that has to do with chipmunks, it's not funny. Now, squirrels, on the other hand, I'll shoot one of them just as soon as I see it. I really don't like squirrels. Squirrels decimated my bird feeder many times. I actually had one day where I walked out onto my porch and there was one squirrel standing on the railing of my porch holding up another squirrel that was tipping over the bird feeder to tip all the bird feed out. And then they both jumped down and ate the feed, and then they went back up and they did it again. And I'm like, okay, great. Well, which one do you take out first? I'm shooting for the bottom one because the bottom one's holding up the top one. He's the instigator. I don't like squirrels. The people that owned this house before we bought it put a squirrel feeder in the tree. And I said, all right, you want to do that? I'm going to put salted peanuts into that squirrel feeder. The squirrels would not eat the salted peanuts. The chipmunks will. If they're hungry, they will. They'll go out and they'll take a salted peanut. But then they'll come onto my porch and they'll look for the bowl of water and wash their mouth out. So it's kind of cool. I like watching it. It's pretty cool. I was kind of hoping Troy was going to come and join me tonight, but if he's not, that's fine. We'll just cut it short. We're already 17 minutes into it, although I did start late, and I decided not to add a song at the beginning because I did write a new one, but I just felt that it was time not to put music in the front of it for some reason. I'm not sure why. It's a good song. It's a really good song, actually. But we'll let it go. So now we're going to go to my truck. As many know, I've been through many, many issues with my truck. I'm now on the second motor of my truck since I've owned it. I bought the truck for $24,000 back in, I'm going to say, probably 2021. That would be a good guess. And I'm now on my second motor. Since it got the second motor, it has issues. I have to take it to the local Chevy garage and have them flash the computer to clear all the codes because it's still saying that my catalytic converters are no good, my O2 sensors are no good, blah, blah, blah. But I paid $5,500 to get all that fixed. And then I bought a new motor right afterwards. And the new motor is still throwing the same codes that the old motor did. So I have to take it to the Chevy dealer to get that computer flashed. And then I have to take it back to my mechanic afterwards to have him do another inspection. I kind of got blown away. I'm going to just reach over here and grab a piece of paper. I got a thing from New York State Department of Motor Vehicles. The required annual inspection is due by 3/31/2026 for the registration listed below, passenger Chevy 2014. And I'm like, the inspection was done after the first motor was rebuilt. has it really been that long? We're talking a whole year now. Has it really been that long? I don't know. I'm gonna go out and check the inspection sticker to find out. But once I get that done, to where I can get it to pass inspection again, I've decided, even though I bought all the parts and the paint and everything to do it myself because I don't have a garage, I'm going to reach out to a couple of local body shops and find out what they're going to charge me to replace the rocker panels and the cab corners. I've got one shop in mind. The guy does awesome work. And then there's two others that are local that they've done work on my vehicles. Well, one of them's done work on my vehicles before. The other one never has. And I'm going to reach out to them and just say, hey, how much would you charge for this so I can get a good, honest review of what it's going to cost me to have it done. If that turns out to be too much money, I have friends that are local. They're actually coming to my house tomorrow. And if those reviews are too much, I'm going to talk to them because they actually own a property that once had a body shop on it. So they've got a huge freaking garage. And I'm going to talk to them and say, hey, can I rent a bay of your garage for unknown time? You know, let me come in. It's not that far from my house. Let me come in and park my truck there. And then come in and do the work on my truck so I can get these rocker panels and get these cab corners replaced. One thing I don't have is an engine lift. And the one thing I got to have in order to be able to do the cab corners is I have to have an engine lift. I have to be able to raise, hey, short-handed Homestead, how you doing? The only way I can do the cab corners is if I remove the box on the truck. And I'm thinking that's something I want to do myself anyway. I mean, if I have another body shop do all the work and put it back together again, that just means when I want to remove the box again, it's going to be really easy because it'll be all brand new bolts and everything will be really cool on it. But what I need to do is I need to put a welded plate onto the frame because my whole intention of this is I want to put a jack crane inside the bed of the truck. So if we go camping, let's say we got this one place local that we go camping at. If we go camping there, they don't have power. They don't have anything. All they have is just a campsite and a portage john. Well, if we camp there, the battery on the camper can't do what it needs to do for everything I want to do. But I do have a really nice generator that runs on propane. Well, I have 40-pound propane tanks. I have the generator. I don't want to be picking them things up, you know. I'm 61 going on 62 years old. I want to be able to reach over with a crane, grab it, pick it up, swing it into the bed of the truck and set it down. Propane tanks, generator, all that. I want to be able to do it that way. So I really want to put the crane in the back of the truck. But I've been told because of the year of the truck and the way the truck was designed, I have to put steel underneath the bed of the truck to mount that crane to. In other words, it will bend stuff. And I don't want nothing bent, you know. I mean, I'm not going through this to make it look crappy. I'm going through this because I want it to look good. And I want it to be very usable. But there's also times where I may need to put something else in the bed of the truck, like my table saw. My table saw, I can fold it down, I can stand it up, I can do all kinds of stuff with it, but the last thing you're going to see me doing is bending over, picking it up off the ground and putting it in the back of my truck. It probably weighs about 190 pounds, somewhere in that neighborhood. I don't want to be picking that up. I used to throw 50-pound bags of baking soda around all day long. For me to grab onto something back then, that was easy. But that was back in 2021 before I got hurt. Now, that ain't going to happen. That'll hurt my back. I'll be like Gary over there, the Simple Life Reclaimed. I'll be seeing the chiropractor and I won't be getting nothing done. And I can't do that. Right now, with the weather changing and everything else, my thing is I've got a lot to get done. And I gotta get there before too much longer. One thing I did do for my garage, I think I talked about this last time I was live, is I bought a new pellet stove for my garage. The problem is the new pellet stove exhaust is on the lower left-hand corner of the stove as you're looking at it from the front. The old one was out the middle, and I can't make it line up no matter how hard I try. So I've got an option. I can jack the stove up and I can cut a bunch of stuff out of the way and I can put it in to match the pipe. But if I do that, that means the stove is at the edge of the door and I don't want to do that. Or I can move the pipe. Or I've got a third option, and I've been working on this one. I've been working with Granger on this one, actually. I just bought a bunch of stainless steel. I got stainless steel welding wire. I was getting ready to just go ahead and fabricate my own. They have what they call a telescope or periscope for dryers, where you can plug it in and slide it out. And then your hose isn't behind the dryer. It's off to the side and it's on a really thin box. I bought one just to use for a test. And I'm like, I can decide where this hole needs to be and where that hole needs to be using that, cutting it down, doing whatever I need to do, and then taping it back together. And then I bought the stainless steel sheet to be able to cut up and fabricate, to be able to make the periscope to go from the pipe to the stove. I didn't buy a lot of stainless steel, but I bought enough. But then I learned, I'm a welder, you know, I mean, I'm not a great welder. I do welding. But I learned that my titanium welder that I bought through Harbor Freight is not hot enough to weld stainless steel. So now I'm looking at, okay, well, if I can take that piece of aluminum that was made for the dryer and fabricate it to be what it needs to be turned out into in stainless steel, I can take that to a fabricator and say, okay, this is what it needs to be. You know, it's pretty easy. It's not a rough job by any means. And I've got more than enough stainless steel, I believe, to make it work. I'm kind of upset to the fact that my welder can't weld it, because my whole plan was to do it myself. And I may still try it. The part that they're talking about that doesn't get hot enough is where the weld goes down. Well, if I preheat that with like MAP gas, I may be able to make that weld lock into those steel plates. It's not thick steel. You know, it's like 1/32 of an inch or something like that. It's pretty thin, but it's plenty strong enough. And I can insulate that and make it so it's not a fire hazard, which I'm not worried about anyway. It's in my garage, and I plan on rebuilding the garage anyway. If you burn my garage down, just don't ruin my tools. No, I do care. But I mean, it's just that simple, you know. So I don't know. I'm kind of in the up in arms on that, because I don't know if my local welding shop welds stainless steel. I could probably find another fabricator that does. And if I have it all cut, get it bent. That's the hard part, getting it bent. Stainless steel is a pain to bend. But I do have a friend that's a roofer and does siding and all that stuff. He's got a really huge brake. I can probably get one of his employees to do the bending for me. I've got a brake, but my brake is only 3 feet long from Harbor Freight. And if it's not bolted down, clamped down, or whatever, last time I used it for doing stainless steel, I had to park my truck on top of it and then use a big pipe to be able to bend a piece of stainless steel for my job. And it was a pain in the neck, and I don't want that pain in the neck again. I'd rather go to somebody else and say, hey, can you do this, because it makes more sense to me. So I'm gonna be working on that. And I don't know who rolls stainless steel, because it takes 11 inches of stainless steel to make a 3-inch pipe, and then it has to be welded at the seam, and then it has to be welded onto the box that we're going to make, which I want to have bent, so that all it is just 2 pieces on the end to seal it up. 3-inch going out this way, 3-inch coming out this way, and then the whole exhaust for the pellet stove is set up. Another guy that I talked to actually had to do the same thing for his pellet stove, but he reached out to a different shop. He reached out to one in Syracuse, And I think he said because he let them do all of it, buy in the stainless steel, the wire for it, the whole 9 yards. He paid like $5,000 to have this one piece made because his pellet stove was in his living room, and he couldn't just use a bunch of elbows to come over to the stove, because if he did, the stove would be about 3 feet off of the wall and it would be taking up most of his living room, and he didn't want that. So he paid somebody else to do it in Syracuse, New York, and it was like $5,000. He told me he paid. I'm not willing to pay $1,000. You know? Yeah, Charlene, I'll be honest with you. My shop was heated all last winter with a pellet stove. I still got the original pellet stove. The problem is that I think my employee at the time, who has the same pellet stove in his house, took the igniter out of it. I can't guarantee it. I don't know that for sure, but I know that I can put pellets into it and it won't ignite. And because it's such a closed system stove, which I didn't want anyway, you can't go in and physically ignite the pellets yourself to bring it into a manual operation stage. I don't even know how you'd get in there and vacuum the ashes out, because the whole front of the stove is one solid piece of glass inside of welded steel. I know how to get to the control boards, all the control buttons, but I do not know how you could get in there and get the ashes out of it. I'll be honest with you. It's a really bad design, as far as I'm concerned. I bought one from Tractor Supply called the King Stove, and that's the one I'm working on putting into my shop right now. That one, I can open up the front, I can vacuum it out, I can hand light it if I need to, I can do all that stuff, and that's kind of what I wanted in the beginning anyway. But the one that I have that was in there before, it was given to me, so I'm not going to complain. I mean, it worked. And as long as it works, I don't care. What I do care about is that, okay, now it doesn't work. And I've tried and tried. You can hit that reset button all day long, and um, the screw will turn on and fill the pot up with wood chips, but there's nothing there to catch them on fire, so it overflows, and now they're all down at the bottom of the stove. I tried it, I don't know, 13 times before I finally decided, yeah, there's something wrong with this thing, because he either took the igniter out of it, which I believe he did, or the control board went bad, which I don't believe is true, because, the auger works. Well, if the auger works, the igniter should work. All right, well, guys, I was really hoping somebody else can join me. I will say this. I wasn't on last Saturday because our seed business has been kicking my butt. And I'm going to be going back out to my seed business tonight and shipping some more orders. We've been averaging shipping orders every time we spend a day or two out there. We're shipping 150, 200 orders. And I need to make that happen again. I mean, I know I can't ship tonight. I know I can't ship tomorrow. But by Monday, I'd like to see another 200 orders going out. I don't know how tomorrow's going to work, because, like I said, we have friends coming over to hang out with us for a while, and I may talk to them about renting a space in their garage at that time. I'm not going to rule it out, because I think I might end up having to do that. And because I'd be over there with my welder and my grinders and all that stuff, I really think that there's going to be a good chance he's going to have work for me to do over there where I don't have to pay any rent for the garage. He's a car hauler, and his car hauling trailers always need work, always. So I'm going to call this one, and well, Charlene, I'll be honest with you. I thought about buying another one of these King pellet stoves to put into my house. We're running propane, what they call blue flame heaters. No exhaust needed, but we have a chimney. And I've been thinking real highly about, okay, the TV is up against the chimney. Move the TV to the other part of the room somewhere and put a pellet stove in that corner, because I think it's cheaper to run a pellet stove than it is to run propane right now. I'm not positive on that, but I think it is. All right, everybody have a great weekend. I'm glad you came to join me, and we'll catch you on the next one. See y'all later.